Before starting with the training, I'll give you a certain background, right? That how Selenium evolved over a period of time. Okay, right? So before I start with the training, I'll give you a brief background about Selenium, right? How it evolved over a period of time. Fine. So the first thing in the beginning when Selenium came up earlier in the market, right? I worked on it for the first time in 2007, right? It had three components. One was known as RC, one was known as IDE, and one known as grid. Fine. IDE was the most easy one, rather it is still used, it is the most easy one. Fine. But primarily it's a record and run tool. You can record the application and run the application. IDE only works on Mozilla. Okay, right. It generates no reports, no HTML reports or something like that. Okay, so IDE is like a record and run tool which only works in Mozilla and it generates no reports. Right. Now record and run feature, it looks very exciting to us. It looks like that fine. We can simply go to a website, record it, put some validations and run the program later on and it will execute and validate the website. Okay, but record and run feature is not that much successful. Okay, right. So just a minute. Hold on. Yeah. So record and run feature, as I was telling you, is not at all successful. All right, and the thing is, suppose there is a website like CNN.com. Okay, suppose there is a website like CNN.com and you record the website today. Okay, those of you who don't know what record and run is, I'll talk about it, just be with me. But those of you who know what record and run is, I'm talking to them. Suppose you record CNN.com and the complete website CNN.com changes every day because the news changes every day, right? So if you go and run the script tomorrow, the chances are that script will fail. Okay, so record and run tool is not very successful in dynamically changing websites, and today all the websites are dynamically changing. Okay, secondly, the drawback of Mozilla was IDE was that it only worked on Mozilla. Okay, it only worked on Mozilla. Now it didn't work on any other browser. So mostly when we have the requirement to test on all the browsers. Okay, and IDE never generated any reports. This tool IDE is, you can say, is popular or it is convenient to use if you have got test cases, like if you have got 15-20 test cases on a smaller scale, you can use IDE. But when you are recording, when you are testing at an enterprise level, right, at a higher level, then Mozilla, it becomes tough to use. Okay, so in the beginning we had a tool known as RC. Okay, RC was actually better than IDE, right? But to learn RC, you had to learn a programming knowledge. You have to have a programming knowledge like Java or C# or Ruby, right? Then it also works with Python, Perl, PHP and all that stuff. Okay, so RC is basically a tool which can be used with multiple languages, but the advantage is that it can be used on multiple browsers. Okay, RC supports browsers like Mozilla, IE, Chrome, fine, and Safari as well. Okay, you could generate HTML reports and all and if you had test cases which had to be executed in bulk, you could have executed the test cases in bulk. Fine. So RC had this advantage over IDE, but the only thing is you had to learn a programming language. Now it doesn't mean that if your website is made in Java language, you need to use Selenium RC with Java language. If your website is you made in C#, then you have to use Selenium RC with C#. It's not like that. It doesn't matter if your website is made in any language, right? You could use any language of RC and work with the website. Okay. The full form of RC Venkata is the remote control. Right. Now the third component of Selenium is grid. Grid is something which is used to execute the test cases parallelly. In grid we establish a central node, okay, and we connect various other computers with the central node like this, okay, and this central node actually goes and tests the website on different nodes, right? It can execute parallelly. Grid is basically for parallel execution. Say on one node I execute on I, on the second node I execute all the test cases on Chrome, on third node on Mozilla, something like this. Or if there are 5,000 test cases, I can have 5 nodes, execute 1,000 on one node, 1,000 on other node, 1,000 third node, like this. Okay, right? So this was the beginning of Selenium. This is what came up, right? Over a period of time, Selenium has evolved, right? These days, the latest version of Selenium, like is known as hold on, WebDriver. Okay, RC over a period of time has evolved into WebDriver. WebDriver is also known as Selenium 2.0. RC was 1.0. Okay, IDE is still there. The versions have changed, and Grid has evolved into Grid 2. Grid 2, I'll tell you what it is. Fine. Like RC, WebDriver also works on multiple languages, multiple browsers, generates reports, but it has actually uh, got advantages over RC. There were few things in RC which were a little tough to do. Okay, like if you have to extract components from in bulk from the web page, right? Then the commands, there were not many commands in RC. People had to use a lot of JavaScript and all, right? So WebDriver was made, and as we proceed with the course, you will actually come to know the real difference between RC and WebDriver. I cannot just tell you right now because you will not understand. For example, a very basic thing: when you had to work with RC, you used to open a command prompt and you used to start the RC server manually from command prompt. Okay, sometimes the server never used to start and you had to restart your machine or log off or log in, and it used to give problems. Fine. In WebDriver you don't have a server which you need to start from command prompt. Okay, so you really don't have to start a server like in RC we had to start a server. You directly have to run the program and it executes. You will come to know when I actually start with the course. IDE remains same over a period of time. The versions have changed. Right. Now Grid has evolved into Grid 2. Grid 2 supports both WebDriver as well as RC, and it executes the program parallelly in this on the machines. Right. So in this class, I will not talk about IDE in this course. Right. IDE you can learn from the recorded videos as well. So primarily we will be focused on WebDriver and other stuff. Okay. Right. Anybody having any questions? Any questions from anybody? Venkat, I have to check that out. I never actually tried to find out the full form of IDE. I never dug into that. Can Somi is asking a question? Can we completely skip learning IDE? Yes, you can skip learning IDE, but if you go for an interview, what happens is that if the interview is not knowing um, Selenium, then he asks questions on IDE because IDE is the easiest one. Thanks, Rishi. The full form of IDE is Integrated Development Environment. Yeah, thank you, Rishi. So, are you covering grid component? Look, I will talk about grid in the class, fine. But in the online class, it is very tough to explain how to connect to different computers and run the code parallelly. But in the pre-recorded videos, I have told. But in the online class, it becomes really tough. Okay, so that's the problem. In the recorded videos which you will be getting, I have already told that. Right? Anybody with any questions? Yes, we are covering with Java only. We will be learning Selenium with Java. It is the most famous option. Okay, you can learn it with anyone, but with Java it is the most famous one. For Selenium scripts to generate, you don't have to learn RC, ID, WebDriver together. Only WebDriver and Grid are more than enough. As I have explained, RC has evolved into WebDriver. RC was 1.0, WebDriver is 2.0. Okay, you can directly start coding in WebDriver. There is no need to learn RC at this stage. There is no need. No company uses RC today. Very few companies use RC which already have their systems built in RC. Okay, if a company is not having a system built in RC, it will never use RC. For new developments and all, WebDriver is used. WebDriver came up in 2011 and it's quite famous now. Anybody else having any questions? Rishi, I will give you lot of websites, lot of examples during the course. Just be with me, I'll tell you. Yeah, yeah. For interview prospect as well, RC is not required because since 2000, this is 2014. It's been already 3 years that WebDriver has come up into the market. So nobody asks about RC. Okay, if you are going for an interview, then I think you should learn WebDriver ID and Grid, probably the latest ones which are over here. Okay, now there is another tool which has come up these days. It is known as Selenium. People mistake that it's an extension of Selenium or it is Selenium 3.0. It is not Selenium 3. This is a separate tool for mobile-based applications, for testing mobile. Selenium can only automate browsers. It cannot be used for automating desktop-based applications or mobile-based applications. Okay. Yes, WebDriver and Grid can be. Yes, Vijay, I'll tell you how to use. Right. No, I'll not be taking up Selenium lastly. WebDriver and Grid can be connected. Obviously, they have to be connected. Then only they will work. And how do I connect them? I'll tell you. Like I'll tell you. Okay, it's not feasible in the first class that I tell you how to connect, but you'll get the information. Fine. Anybody having any other questions? Okay, this is the first class. In the first class, people have a lot of questions and all. I know that every time it happens. Fine. So that's why I'm receptive to that. So, okay, let's start with the training now. Fine. So, okay. The first thing, as I told you, you need to install Java in your machine. Okay. After Java, you need to have Eclipse in your machine. Fine. I hope everybody has got Java because you are able to join the meeting. One more thing, guys, people who have got 64-bit operating systems, which most of you have these days, okay, I would request you to download JDK. Fine, just go to google.com right? Go to google.com and type download JDK. Okay, and go to the first link and please install JDK. This is JDK over here. Click on this and install JDK for 64-bit machines. This is the 64-bit machine JDK. Please install it. If you have a 32-bit machine, then it's okay. But Eclipse requires 64-bit JDK. Now Eclipse is the editor for Java language. Like everybody has studied C language, right? Right. Every language has an editor. For C# and all, we have got .NET Framework, Visual Studio .NET. So similarly over here, we have got Eclipse in Java. You just have to go to Google and type Eclipse download. Okay, you will go to Eclipse downloads page, and you can download Eclipse for 32-bit or 64-bit machine depending on your operating system. I would say download this one, Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers. It includes almost everything. Fine. So you can download for 32-bit or 64-bit machine. Once you have downloaded it, it comes as a bundle. It will come as a RAR file. You will extract the file, and you will have Eclipse over here, like this Eclipse folder. It's not an exe. Okay, Eclipse is not an exe. Okay, you just have to extract the file and open eclipse.exe from here, and Eclipse will directly start. You don't have to install Eclipse. Okay, when Eclipse starts, the first window which comes up is Workspace Launcher. Fine. Now many of you might be knowing what I am teaching today, but I have to start from the basics because there are people out here who are not aware of programming language. Okay, so I have to start from the basics over here. So the first thing which you get is a Workspace Launcher. This is actually the place where you will be storing all the code. Okay, so I will make a new workspace which is April weekday 2014. Okay, so at this location I'll be storing all the code which we are going to make in this particular batch. Okay, fine. So let it open. Hold on. Right, this is Eclipse. This is the welcome screen. Fine, you can close the welcome screen. You get a page like this. Okay, so lastly I'll tell you, just be with me. I'll tell you in the course. Right, so this is the portion where we are going to write the code. Okay, this is the portion where we will store the projects, and at the bottom portion we will get the output results. Okay, this is an overview. So the coding is done over here. Out here we get the results, and out here we keep the projects. Okay, simple enough. Fine. Now look, the thing is, hold on, just a minute. Yeah, now the thing is, it is very difficult to actually for me to start with the very basics of Java and then go ahead. What I am assuming is that you at least have the basic knowledge of programming. You at least know what if statement is, what a for loop is, what function is. Fine, at least a basic level knowledge of programming, because if I start with the very basics and all, it will take me a lot of time to complete the course, right? If you are a person who has never done programming language, who has never ever used programming, fine, so I would recommend, right, I would recommend that you should actually go for the videos first. On my website I have got videos. Okay, buy the videos and later on join the course by paying the difference amount, that is whatever is the difference between the online video cost and the training cost. Pay that and join the training. So that will help you, since you will come to the class after at least learning Java, some basics of WebDriver. So when you come there with the background, okay, it helps you a lot. Fine. If you have done programming earlier, you have a little knowledge, then it's okay, right? You can join it directly. Fine. So there's a question being asked after this course, can we be able to directly automate a real-time project? What are the expected obstacles one can face? Look, the thing is, the first, the motive of this course is to help you learn frameworks. Okay, right. Framework is like an end-to-end solution, an end-to-end project, like how to automate various test cases. Suppose we have got 500 test cases. You have to run one test case after another test case. So how do you do that? Okay, so this is the basic motive of the project that we'll be doing by the end of the course. Alright, and can you show us again how to download Eclipse? Okay, to download Eclipse, basically you need to go to this URL. I'll give the URL over Skype to everyone. Fine, go to this URL, and this is the download link for Eclipse. You can click on either 32-bit or 64-bit, whichever you want to download. Okay, alright, so this is how. Just a minute, guys. Alright, so now the next thing, right? Eclipse has opened. You need to make a new project in Eclipse. File. To make a new project in Eclipse, you can right click over here in the Package Explorer section. This white section is known as Package Explorer, where you keep all your projects. Right. So you right click over here, go to New, and select New Project. Okay, you select New Project and you select Java project over here. Click on Next. Fine, and name the project as, say, Day 1. Fine, name the project as Day 1. Click on Next and finish the project. So what you will see is that I'm giving you the recorded video of the class as well. Just don't worry, you can have a look at the video as well. I'll mail you the video of the class. Fine, so you will have the Day 1 project over here. If you expand, you will have a source folder over here inside the project Day 1. If you physically go to the location of the project, just hold on. If you go to the properties, for example, if you right click on project, you will have a lot of options. One of the important options is the properties option. You will use this a lot when working with Selenium. Okay, you go to the properties, you will have all the project related properties. You will have under resource, you will have the complete path of the project Day 1 till Day 1. Okay, under resource you will have complete path of the project till Day 1. You get this path and hold on, you open up this path, right? So out here in this is the Day 1 project. Okay, under Day 1 you will have lot of folders, out of which the source folder is visible inside Eclipse. Okay, the other folders and files are not. I'll tell you about other folders and files. Just hold on, just be with me. Right, source folder is the folder in which we keep all the Java code and all. Whatever we make, we keep it under the source folder. Okay, so in the source folder, you right click, right? You create a new class. Fine, you right click on new and create a new class. Okay, and you name the class as say sample.java. Click on public static void main and you will have some code automatically generated. Fine. I'll just increase my font size so that it's visible to everyone. Just hold on. What was where was the option colors and fonts? Yeah. Right. I hope everybody is able to see the font. Okay. Right. So there are few questions being asked that can we rename the folders? Yes, you can rename everything. If you have to rename this file, just select the file, hit F2 and rename. Whatever you want to do, just rename by clicking F2. Okay. Are we supposed to make package first and then project? I'll talk about packages largely. Just be with me. I'm not talking about building a big project today. I'm just starting from the basics. Okay. So just be with me. Alright. So yes, you will get the recorded sessions. Yes, I'm recording the session. Yes, you will get the recorded session as well. Fine. So out here, right, this is the code which is generated automatically. Fine. So the first line is public class sample. The name of the class in Java has to be same as name of the file sample.java. This is the main function. Every programming language has the main function. In C language, if you have studied C language, it has also got the main function. The control comes up inside this function when the program is executed. Okay. Suppose inside this I type system.out.println. System.out.println is a command to print something. Okay. If I type system.out.println and I print say hello, right. So this will go and print hello on the output console. Hold on. To run this program, there are two options, right? One is through the green button over here on the top. Okay. If you have click on this green button, it will execute and print hello at the bottom. Or you can right click on the file and select the option run as Java application. Okay, it will also run it. So there are two options. One is through here, or you can right click and select the option run as Java application over here. Fine. Okay. So right now the next thing, right? Java is a programming language just like any other language, right? Like you have got integers over here, say int I equals 200. You have strings over here like this hello world. So I'm assuming you know basic things like what integer is, what string is, what a for loop is, what if statement functions. Basically the things which are there in every programming language. Okay, the different thing about Java is that it is object oriented. We will be starting up the object oriented concepts. Not today, I'll start that tomorrow. But today I'm just giving you, it's just a kind of startup class where people ask a lot of questions and I start with the basics. Fine. So this is the sample.java class. Okay, if you look at the physical location, then inside the source folder, okay, inside the source folder, you will have this sample.java. Hold on. This is sample.java. Fine, which we had created. Just a minute. Right, this is sample.java which we had created. And under the source folder, this Java file is present. If you look under the bin folder, then you will find the class file. Sample.class. Every Java file is converted to a class file. This class file is like an executable file. You cannot just open it. If you open it, you will not be able to understand anything. Okay, all the Java files are converted into class files. Suppose I create one more class file, right, known as say test.java, anything, and inside it I just type system.out.println Selenium, and I run the program. It prints Selenium. If you look in the bin folder physical location, you will have test.class file generated. Okay, right. Just a minute, guys. Right. So you have this test class, right, and inside this I have printed something. Now somebody is asking a question. The OOPS concept which you teach are more than enough to dig in deep. Yes, it is more than enough. I'll be talking about OOPS tomorrow. Okay, it is more than enough. Right. The major mistake which people do when they start learning Selenium is that they don't concentrate on Java. And the architecture of Selenium is completely object oriented in nature. If you go to the Selenium website, right, this is the Selenium website, seleniumhq.org. Fine, this is the official website for Selenium. The first line says Selenium automates browsers. It is only for browsers. Okay, and if you go to the download section over here, you will have a link known as Java doc. This is the documentation for Selenium. Okay, if you go to this documentation, you will have the documentation over here, but you will not able to understand this because this documentation is completely object oriented in nature. So you need to have the concepts of object oriented programming clear to understand this documentation. And this is the mistake which people do. They don't follow object oriented programming concept. They don't try to understand that, and then eventually they lose out the interest or are not able to learn the tool in a very effective manner. Okay, fine. So out here, like as I was telling you, every Java file is converted into a class file. Okay, you can use these class files, and suppose you have to deliver to the client, you can deliver these class files. Okay, for example, when Java is installed on your system, hold on guys, just hold on. Right, when I'm sorry, when Java is installed in your system, fine, you have this GRE system library available in Eclipse. This is actually Java which is installed in your system. You see inside the project there is GRE system library Java SC 1.6, right? This is actually Java which is installed in your system. Fine, I'll talk about it in some time. Just give me 2 minutes. Okay, like I was telling you that every Java file is converted to a class file. These are the class files. These have to be delivered to the client. You never deliver the Java files to the client. You deliver the class file. Now suppose there is a project. There is a project in which you have got many class files. Okay. Now how do you deliver all these class files to the client? Suppose there are 2000 class files. Right. You wrap all the class files in a single file. That single file is known as a jar file. It's like zipping the class file. That single file technically in Java it's known as a jar file. Jar file contains many class files, and this single jar file you can give it to the client and he can execute the classes inside this jar file. How it is done, don't worry, you will get to know everything, but I am giving you the overview that what do we do, what a class file is and what a jar file is. At this stage, understand a class file is something which is generated every time you run a Java program. Okay, and jar file is something which is combination of many class files. Okay, for example, when Java is installed on your system, this is JRE system library, Java installed on your system. If you expand this, you will see many jar files. Okay, each of these jar files, they contain lot of class files. These class files can be used by us. For example, if I type over here system.out.println Java archive Venkat new date. Okay, if you write system.out.println new date and import date, just don't worry what I am doing new date. Date is an internal class in Java. Okay, it is present out here in any one of the jar files. You see that it is present out here. Alright, fine. So if I just use this class and if I run this, it prints the current date, time and all everything. What is new date? Just forget about it. I'm just telling you that I can use the internal classes which are present in Java. These internal classes are present in these jar files. I can use them. Okay, right? Similarly, people who made Selenium, okay, they give us, for them we are the clients. Okay, we are the clients for Selenium people. We use their tool, right? So they give us the jar files. As I had told you, the jar files are always given to the clients, right? For Java, we are the clients. When we install Java, we are the clients. So we get the jar files. Similarly, Selenium guys, they give us the jar file. You have to go to the website seleniumhq.org and go to the download section over here. Out here, the Java client version, latest version is 2.41. You can download this. Okay, you can download this, and when you download and extract this, what you get is, hold on, you get a folder like this. Okay, when you open the folder, you will have two jar files over here, and under lib folder you will have many other jar files. These are the jar files for Selenium. These jar files you have to include them in Eclipse so that you can work with Selenium. Okay, how do you include them? You just right click on the project, go to properties and go to Java build path. I am recording this session. You can have a look at the recorded videos as well. Okay, you will come to know. Fine, there is nothing like remembering by heart right now. Okay, go to the properties of the project and go to Java build path. Okay, and under the libraries tab there will be 4 tabs. Under the libraries tab you will see that the jar files of Java are already there in the project. Okay, you can click on add external jars button over here. Yes, when I'm saying Selenium, I mean WebDriver. These are the WebDriver jars. Okay, you click on add external jars and go to the location where you had downloaded the jars. And include these 2 jar files as well as the jar files under the library folder. Don't forget to include the jar files under library folder. So you include all these jar files. So I will tell you, just be with me, right? Include all these jar files and click on OK. So you will have a new reference library section over here under which all the jar files would be present. These are the Selenium jar files. So your project is now Selenium enabled, WebDriver enabled. WebDriver has got no exe or something. It has to be configured. You just have to import the jar files of WebDriver in your project and start using the classes inside them. To use the classes and to use the WebDriver and all everything right now, you need to understand the concept of object-oriented programming, which I will be starting tomorrow. Okay, I'll not start the concepts of object-oriented programming today. I'll be starting it tomorrow. Right now, anybody having any questions regarding the course, regarding anything? Any questions? Guys, just 1 minute, I'll be back. Just 1 minute. Yes, as many projects as you make, you will have to include the jar files. Any question from anybody? Can you show me the jar files again, how to include? Yes, I can show again. You can also have a look at the recorded video after the class. You will come to know. You right click on the project, go to the properties, right? Under properties, you will have Java build path. Okay. In this, you will have 4 tabs. Go to libraries tab, click on add external jars, select the jar files like all the jar. This is the Selenium, right? Select these 2 jar files and all the jar files under the library section. Okay, this is how you do it. So I will tell you about Selenium Core, what it is. At this point, you'll not be able to understand it. Just understand RC is known as the older version, WebDriver is known as the new version. Okay, core of Selenium is made in JavaScript. Okay, I'll talk about that. Hold on for something. All right. So, right. If I'm through with all the classes and all, how much time it takes to prepare? Look, if you are done with the training, you can start directly applying for interviews. Prepare your resume. Right, I'll give you some sample resumes as well. Fine, and start applying for jobs. Right, apply for companies which you don't want to join. That's always I suggest people, so that you have an interview experience, and then start applying seriously in the company. So that will help you a lot. In this course, I'll also be giving you a lot of interview questions, right? So you can refer those as well. Around 2 years, Somi. Around 2 years. What if there is only Selenium RC at client side? This is the question being asked is what if there is only, when you ask a question, please direct it to everyone. Don't direct it only to me. Please direct it to everyone so that everyone is able to see that. Fine. What if there is only RC at client side? Look, this chance is very rare. RC is not used these days. It's deprecated since 3 years now. Even no work, no enhancement is going on RC. The chances are very, very bleak. Yes, JavaScript is required. I'll talk about JavaScript as we proceed, Rishi. Largely, web services is completely different. This is functional automation testing of websites. Selenium is used for that. Web services is entirely a different concept. Yeah, Vijay, as we proceed with the course, I'll give you a lot of exercises. Yes. Yes. Okay. Fine. I will send you a new meeting link tomorrow. Right. For tomorrow's class, I will be sending you a new meeting link. Tomorrow we will be studying about object-oriented concepts and how to use with Selenium. Right. I'll start a little bit of Selenium tomorrow. Fine. And please don't try to join the meeting with this link. You'll get a new link. Fine. People who have already joined the training, I would request them to join this training early during the trial classes, right? Because after the trial classes, you will be able to join, but in the trial classes, there is a little problem. Vijay, you just need to learn Java and some JavaScript. That's it. Nothing else. Yes, I'll be covering Anu. Yes, I'll be covering Ant and all in the course. Yes. Okay. All right then. I'll end up the class. You will get the recorded video of today's class in your mailbox in some time. All right.